The first of many artificial suns is burning bright on Alpha Andromedae 2, and it's time to reap the rewards of antimatter containment and lay the foundations for our first Dyson Sphere, actually. But before we do that, I might want to do a little bit of inventory management. Hello Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series, if I can remember how to turn the interface back on. There we go. If you can believe it, this is episode 80. I know. Where does the time go? It's crazy that we've gotten this far in the series and don't have anything built for the Dyson Sphere yet. It's fine. This is normal. Everything is fine. Let me go ahead and add something real quick. Where will I have room for this? Hang on. Well, I might have room there. Hang on. Although, I feel like that's gonna... Watch. Yeah. I knew it. Let's bring it over one. I do want to go ahead and have storage set up here and have a logistics distributor set up on top of this container. Just like we have with deuterium fuel rods. And there we go. We'll eventually have more than one artificial sun here, I would imagine. But we clearly now have more than enough power on this world. And what I would like to do, let's go ahead and get the logistics distributor set up. Where are you? We're going to do some inventory management in just a moment. Also, I'm going to go ahead and click this because apparently that button, yeah, that is amazing. So this is auto replenishment. If auto replenishment is turned on, items in the inventory will be automatically replenished to this slot when opening this panel, pasting blueprint. If auto replenishment is turned on in sandbox mode, the amount of this transport unit will always be locked to the maximum. So I'll have to figure out over time. This is another newer mechanic. And you know me and learning new mechanics while recording, but this is a fairly simple one. The question is, if I turn this on here, does that affect all logistics distributors? Apparently not. It's just the one, which is kind of what I was hoping for. So that's good. Okay. See, here's a good example, by the way, of what I just did. You saw me pull this into my inventory. I'm going to finish my rant from last episode for a second. So the inventory, sometimes when you're building things in this game, can fill up and be problematic, and you can drop stuff on the ground, and it can be frustrating. Yes, I'm carrying a lot of stuff that I don't need to be carrying, which is why we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. But why not add to the inventory a small overflow for situations like that is temporary, that if you don't deal with it, it will dump your stuff on the ground, but at least you don't have to go hunting for stuff. And it would be just like the overflow that exists for logistics distributors. I feel like that's what makes the most sense as a change. Now, yes, you can keep your inventory cleaner if you want to be a neat freak, and you absolutely should try to do that. I kind of like having a little bit more hands-on approach, so that leads to a feeling of a bit more cluttered inventory. And sometimes I'll just have things sitting in my inventory for a while that don't need to be, like for instance those items there. Just a reminder that one of the things that's really useful for clearing your inventory when you have this situation and you want to get rid of things quickly is you can select production buildings, there we go, that use the things that are in your inventory, and then just hit the tab key, and it will take all of those things from you, like so. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. That's rude. So, hang on, which storage is that? And did you just output anything onto the line that you shouldn't have? No, I didn't. Alright, should be fine. Yeah, so don't follow that particular lead, because that was ridiculous. But I've got a lot of stuff in my inventory here that I would just like to offload as best I can. I'm noticing that the bots are bringing me some things. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so I've got some steel here that I can probably get rid of. Okay, steel is no longer a problem. I'm not seeing any backed up energetic graphite right now. That's probably because the storages that I have down the line are backed up, so that's okay. So let's continue to empty things out here if at all possible, because I still have room to do that. Also, let's go ahead, just for the sake of really having only the things in my inventory that can be cleared out in such a way. God, we have 8 more artificial stars. Oh, yeah, hang on. I need to set these up. I don't think I need Deuteron fuel rods anymore. I would rather have antimatter fuel rods being provided. So I want to have at least, let's say, 60 at all times. And at most, let's say at most 120, because that's kind of a good starting point. And now it looks like they are, in fact, bringing me those items, which is beautiful. So here's what's crazy. I can go ahead and pop those antimatter fuel rods into Icarus. I cannot believe we've already come that far. And we're, of course, working on researching the universe matrix right now, which is a huge step in the right direction. So, all right, now that I've got that set up, let me go ahead and take care of a few additional things. How is my deuterium power plant situation looking? Oh, much better. Much better. Okay, so the change that I made over here seems to have made a big difference. All right, so I've just gotten rid of those. Yeah, that's made just an enormous difference. I also have a ton of plane smelters on me, which is fantastic. Thank you guys again for pointing out that I was missing the storage. It's one of the interesting things about this series that is not going to be the case as much. I can't rule out that my shenanigans and streamer brain will not be an influence at all on future Dyson Sphere content. But one of the interesting things about this series is that this is obviously the second series that I started right after bringing the channel back. I've had a lot to learn, and on top of that, I've just had a lot of things going on over these past couple of months that have made the recording of this series at times more disjointed than was intended. So there are things like just forgetting the storage is there that I'm not convinced that that would happen if I were to start this series over right now and reach that point in the coming months. Some of you don't believe me. Most of you don't believe me. It's fine. But my point is, I've had a lot going on, so I appreciate those of you who pointed out the stuff that I overlooked when it got particularly obvious, because I had genuinely done that in a previous play session and forgotten it was there, and because I knew that my production level... Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We've been over this, but I'm grateful. All right, so I've got some coal here that looks like it's almost tapped out. This copper is even more almost tapped out. That coal is almost done. We have plenty of solar sails. How is power when this is not running? Yeah, I'm completely fine. And also, one thing I'm going to have to start doing is exporting these, which I don't... Exporting them is a little dicey, because obviously they take a lot of resources to produce. It does seem at the moment like I have plenty of all of the things needed for them, so maybe it's safe to go ahead and expand the production slightly, and let's do that. And before this episode is over, we will be taking some to a new world, which is very exciting. All right, so you and... That's easily fixed. You and you. So I'll have to do a little bit of a different placement strategy here. That's fine. Oh, wrong direction. Let's output there. And there we go. All right, so now we've doubled our production of those, which will make it even easier for me to actually export them, since I need to do that. So the question is, from which interstellar tower shall we be exporting them? Or do we need to build another one? Which it's very likely at this point that we'll need to build another one. And I won't necessarily complain about that, because I don't want to have to do the work of moving these somewhere else. Oh, hang on. That reminds me. Speaking of disjointedness, speaking of going out of town and having things to do, so I went out of town this past weekend. You're watching this episode on a Tuesday. I was gone Friday through Sunday, and I managed to have episodes up for those days. But I had someone tell me something that, frankly, someone had told me this in the comments like 2 months ago, and I think I remember reading about it, but I wasn't quite at the point where I was able to take advantage of it. There is something that I have dramatically overlooked here, and even when I haven't overlooked it, like it hasn't stuck because I've been in the middle of doing other things. So there are 2 Space Warper recipes. One of the interface elements of Dyson Sphere Program that is really easy to overlook is that number in the bottom right corner of the recipe that tells you how many of the particular output you're going to get from the recipe. So when people have said, why don't you use space warpers or why don't you use green cubes for space warpers, gravity matrices, I always go, well, why? Stay with me for a second, because I've already pointed to the end game. You already know the answer. The answer is obvious. But if you're not seeing the 1 and the 8 there, I look at the graviton lens, and it requires... Or I look at the basic recipe, which requires a graviton lens, and then I look at the the gravity matrix, which requires a graviton lens and an additional ingredient, and I'm like, why would I make that? And obviously, the follow-up question, it's so silly. The follow-up question is, well, why would they have it in the game if it was that inefficient? But because I have always been satisfied with using this recipe, and I've never actually run short or had a problem, it's never occurred to me to look again at that. It's been a bit of a blind spot. And check that out. 8 space warpers. So it's a dramatic increase in the number of warpers that are made by the recipes. So one thing I'm going to do, like right now, is go ahead and start making those with the green cubes. The question is, well, we might not be doing it right now. But I've noticed it. I've mentioned it. And we will be doing it. Because that will allow for much more profound, proliferation, really, of warpers and their production. Where the heck do I even have warpers being produced? Is it all the way over here? Oh, no, it's down here. It's right here. So we have all these. So right now, these are going to make green cubes. And they're being sent in this direction specifically. I mean, it looks like we have more than enough. It's just they're being chewed up for resource purposes. So now that I've finished my research into the universal matrix, that needs to be the next thing that I do. Part of me does want to go ahead and get the Dyson Sphere stress system research, but this is level 2. We've already researched level 1 of that. So this is just the ability to build more of the frame of the Dyson Sphere, apart from just being able to build it around the equatorial area. So this is going to be fairly easy because I already have antimatter in the area. So we just need a new tower, basically. And I'm going to put it... Hang on, let me see if there's... This isn't the prettiest thing in the world. Oh, that's just a rock. I can get rid of that. Also, I can delete this momentarily. Hang on. We're going to flip that whole path. Yeah, we will get those green cubes, especially once this is in full swing. I think my priority right now is getting the universe matrices set up. But so the universe matrices require one of every cube and some antimatter. So it's complicated. It is the most complicated recipe probably in the game in terms of what goes into making it. And it becomes the primary driver of research going forward from this point. Yeah. It's kind of important. So I'm trying to think of the best spot to have this thing. I think here is probably good. Alright, now I probably need to build additional Yeah, let's do this. And I don't have any of those on hand. Thankfully, I have a massive storage full of them right there. So temporarily, our inventory is filled right back up. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. We're building matrix labs. Oh, just the one, huh? Hang on. I'm going to need to get some glass. Are you freaking kidding me? Here we go again. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, for that situation that we were just in, where are you? I don't even see the thing. I don't know where it popped. I don't know where it might have landed. I'm just sweeping all over the landscape trying to find it. There it is. Got it. So much crap. All right. Glass. And plenty of it. Now this should be everything I need, right? Matrix labs. I'll go ahead and just queue up 20 of them. And now we can put that stuff away. We also have several hydrogen fuel rods, which I no longer have any real use for. We are producing some of them here. So what I can do is offload them like so. And now we're running on, check that out, we're running on antimatter fuel rods. The best fuel in the game will make it easier for me to warp everywhere that I want to warp. And it'll be great. Let's offload those there. Perfect. And we've already been brought some additional antimatter fuel rods, so that is fantastic. We're doing really well. And it looks like they're already bringing me another one. Alright, so now that I have those research labs built, let's go ahead. Finish the tower. Have I built all the... Yes, I have. Alright, good. So this tower is going to produce this type of cube, which will require literally one of everything. But one of the nice things about having the storage set up the way that I've had it set up is that I can just run an additional line now out of all of these splitters. And work will be evenly split between all of them. So hang on, I want to see if I can get one of these down somewhere. Which may or may not be possible. Oh, hang on. Hang on, I think I see a solution. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. This will work. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and just bring it straight there. All right, now the question is, did that actually free up the space that I needed, though? Because I don't think that it did. I don't think it did. Yeah, it's still... Man, that would be the perfect spot for it, too. But I guess I'll just do a Tesla tower. It's not necessary to have anything larger than that. I just kind of liked the idea. The satellite towers look cool, all right? And then that's all there is to it. It's not complicated. They look cool. Let's go ahead and get... So first things first, we're going to do... green cubes. And then we will have... purple cubes. And then we will have... yellow cubes. And then, you guessed it, this is going to be a little harder to pull off, I think. Might have to use this trick, yep. I see what I can do. Let's just do that here. It's not the prettiest in the world, but that's okay. It's going to work, and that's what matters. All right, so now we've got the red cubes. That leaves 1. And then, of course, there's the antimatter, which will be, in a lot of ways, the easiest. Yeah, this is the first time I've set up this entire apparatus like this, and it's the easiest job I've ever had of it, honestly. Thanks to the changes made by using splitters at the base of storage. It's just fantastic. All right, so now we have every cube type imaginable feeding into that. And the reason it's better is, again, we're splitting everything that goes into these towers in 2 directions evenly, which is what I want. I still want these towers to get everything, but I also want this tower filled up with the resources that it needs. So you can tell from the towers being lit up that we're producing what we need in order to fully accommodate both the research tower and this tower with the cubes that they need to continue producing once they're active again. And of course, they're not active right now, but they will be. So, fantastic soundtrack. Antimatter. It does seem like we are now running a little bit low on antimatter, but that's okay. Now if I go ahead... Oh, this is nice. I didn't realize how perfect of a fit this was going to be, but that's literally the antimatter line right there. So that worked out. It's just that while we don't have antimatter actually being shipped in, there's not a lot for this tower to do yet. So we'll wait. Let's actually take a quick look and see how close we are. All right, so there's none on the way at the moment. It might be worth a visit to the world where that's being produced. But before we do that, we need to set up an export operation. Same situation. Let's go ahead and empty this out. There we go. There we go. Interstellar logistics. Let's also empty that out. That's one downside of having lifted up the conveyor belt, having raised the conveyor belt ceiling that I set in my inventory, is that they bring me more now. And so when they're not set to be in the logistics slot, they take up a ton of space. Like a ton of space. It's a problem. So... let's go ahead and, well, I think I'd rather have them like, yeah. Let's bring foundation there one more time. Because what I want to do is have these set to export from like here. There we go. Ha! Magical. Okay, so here, and we can actually, eventually when I'm using green cubes to make warpers, I can use this as an export platform for those as well. So that'll come in handy. Which will actually free up a considerable amount of graviton lenses for other purposes here on Alpha Andromedae 2. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But That is a win. That's a win that I'll take. All right, so I do want to have these as a remote supply. I just don't want to have a ton of them stored. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be not that many of them stored, which also reminds me, what did I set up here? Yeah. So we're going to have a cap on this storage. That's incredibly rude. I just want you to provide. They started stealing it from me just as soon as I placed it. All right, so now if I tell you that I want that many in storage, you'll have 100 ready to go. Let's just bring some warpers in manually, if we can. Okay, so now that we've gotten that set up, we can take an artificial sun to the planet that is producing antimatter, which, by the way, one of the reasons that we don't have more antimatter coming more regularly is the power situation there on that planet. So if we take care of that now, then that will actually help resolve the situation that we're facing on Alpha Andromedae 2. So let's do that. Our tidally locked planet is in the Alrami system. Notice how slowly my battery is draining on antimatter fuel. It gets even better once we have more upgrades going. But until we have antimatter really funneled into that universe matrix production tower, there's not much point to having research going. For now, I just want to have cubes building up. 1.85 gigawatts. So we're in fantastic shape. What I need is really just to look at that too. These are completely full. So we are now at 100% continuous receiving, which means we're outputting photons much faster than we would have otherwise. It's just these take a good long while. So what we need is to have additional ray receivers. All right. We've produced our first universe matrix, probably because an antimatter shipment arrived. But, ironically enough, there's not a power problem on this planet anymore. But the reason for that is that there's nothing currently... Hang on, let's delete that. There's nothing currently for the production facilities to work on. The second that there is, there will be a power problem. So, let's go to the South Pole. And I should have an import slot on that station ready to go. Oh, I don't. Okay, maybe the North Pole does. Otherwise, we might have to set up another station, which would be completely fine. We can set one up on the dark side of the planet and not even worry about it. But what we need is additional ray receivers then. If power is not the problem, here we go. All right, so this is going to be... I don't want you to have that many of them. I don't need that many of them. We're just going to say 500. And I want to say remote demand. And it might take them a moment to arrive because other things are currently being transported. I could also say minimum load of vessels. There we go. See? Just by bringing that down, they went to go get some for me. Because they'll only go claim a particular cargo transport when it's completely ready to go. So by saying, I'm okay with you bringing a half shipment, 4/10 of a shipment, 3/10 of a shipment, 2/10 of a shipment, by bringing it down in real time, the game went, oh, okay, I'll go get those now. Cool. So that's helpful. While those are on the way, we can get this set up. And we can probably just have it... Yeah, let's do these around the outside like so. still have a lot of stuff in my inventory I want to empty out. But most of it, like a good bit of it, is stuff that, like, look at this. Look at how much room is taken up by just the conveyor belts. And some of the other stuff that is in logistics slots, and I have to pull stuff back and forth. There's a lot. There's a lot. All right, let's go ahead and set this up like so. We will have this be the antimatter fuel line, and with that, you can bring you... Actually, no, let's do it even better. Let's do it even better. We'll eventually have a line powering multiple reactors here. So those should be here any moment now. We just need a Tesla tower set up so that that is powered. Or, even better, yeah, let's do that. And there they are. They've arrived, which means... Excellent. We now have an artificial sun helping to power things here. So what I can do is go ahead and place probably a second and third one of those here, because this is one world that I never want, especially once I have the additional things set up that I would like to set up here. I never want this world to be struggling for power. That's just not something that needs to happen. It's unnecessary. All right, so we'll put one there. Should be good to go. All right, so now we have considerably more power than we did just 2 or 3 minutes ago. It's a lot better. For the next episode, what I'm going to focus on is getting more ray receivers built, because with the ray receivers, and we do still have some inventory to clean up, but we took a chunk out of that, and especially got rid of some old stuff that was really taking up space unnecessarily. Still have a few items to clean up. And then how much is this currently set to? At least 800, at most 800, but I have so much more. So I need to set my silicon distributors to pull silicon from me, because they're currently not doing that. Let's see. Perfect. Anyway, yeah, we'll work on that more as far as cleaning up the inventory in the next episode. But for now, the immediate focus is going to be on building more ray receivers, because we can triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple, septuple, and beyond this particular production situation, especially now that we have so many graviton lenses. So this is just the beginning of how many photons can be captured by this particular planet. We can do so much more with this, and I intend to, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at noon US Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome. I cannot believe we are 80 episodes into this already. Holy crap. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.